It's all yours.
Sounds good. Well, good morning. I just want to do a quick call. Let's do the roll call first, and I'll do a couple housekeeping things for us. Roll call.
Okay. Commissioner McDaniel.
Here.
Commissioner Seminary.
Here.
Commissioner Norrell.
Here.
Commissioner Kovash. And he planned to be absent today. And Chairman McLean.
Here. Just before we get the approval of the minutes, housekeeping, if one of us needs a break, we're going to all break, okay? I know that we're scheduled for 4 hours, but if we need to take a bathroom break or just a break in general, let me know. I'll give you 5 minutes and we'll all break at the same time, okay? Otherwise, we can do approval of the February 18th, 2026 minutes. Everybody get a chance to look at. So moved. Do I have a first? Do I have a second? I think Deb said second by her. Your mic is not on, Deb, just so you know. And then, do I have any other discussion? Okay. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Norrell.
Aye.
Commissioner McDaniel.
Aye.
Commissioner Seminary.
Yes.
And Chairman McLean.
Yes. Okay, now we're going to get into administrative rules. I think the way we're going to look at doing this is if you guys want to pull up the indexed sheet. I hope you all had the time to kind of go through it. The index sheet kind of is has all the comments we had, whether it's public or in writing. And we're going to go straight on page 1. The gray items, we didn't receive anything that was in the gray items in the indexed thing that in all the rules. We didn't receive any additional comments beyond the original draft rule. I'd like to see if we could just, unless somebody wants to pull something out of the grade items, I'd like to see if we can do a big chunk right away and approve anything from the grade items right away and get a motion for that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Seminary.
I would move that all items highlighted in gray be approved.
Excellent.
Second.
And I have a second from Ryan. So any other discussion on the gray items? Okay, roll call vote.
Okay. Commissioner Norrell.
Yes.
Commissioner Seminary.
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel.
Yes.
And Chairman McLean.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move on to the first highlighted items. If you guys have any questions or you kind of need to know where I'm at, let me know. I'll try to do page numbers. We're going to start off on page 2, site authorization amendment. Current draft language, you can see what they have. Electronic pull tabs may not be conducted in temporary sites such as fairgrounds, special event sites, or any sites that are not open for 20 consecutive calendar days of 1 quarter. And you can read through the comments. I think Don had some suggested language. Janelle also had some stuff, Scott. And then you get down to on page 3, the AGO Gaming Division input. They are giving you a couple of choices of what they think they could do. And I would like to start off by if anybody has anything to add to this or has a motion for me on the first one.
I kind of like the second language by the AG's office where it specifies that a number of days, and I'd suggest 4 business days because that at least is a majority of a week. That still gives them 3 days off. But it's not supposed to be in a temporary site. So I'd say if you're working a full 7-day week and you're closed 3 out of those 7 days, that's okay. But if you're closed more than that, 4 days, I think it's pushing it, but that's just a suggestion.
And then Deb, just to clarify, you say 4 business days for 1 quarter. Are you referring to 4 business days in a week?
Oh, I'm sorry, in a week. So
yeah. So you could do it a different way. If we want to do it in a quarter, you're looking at, well, about 40 days.
Yeah,
Or did you want to change
think
the
it should-
language?
no. That would be up to whatever, I would defer to the Attorney General's office to see which would be easier for them to regulate. Again, a special event usually isn't, more than, it would be continuous. So
Would you, Aaron?
I'm not
you-
sure.
For talking a total number of days per quarter, I think, I think 40 probably would be acceptable, and that brings in, it brings in Deb's, 4 per day and then, or 4 per week, excuse me, but it does alleviate the concern about the comment that was received about not being open all week, 7 days straight. So we had consecutive days, but I think a number of days per quarter would be a good in between there. So if 40 is the number.
Ryan or Mike, do you guys have any input on this section?
Mr. Chairman, thank you for asking. I appreciate Deb and Aaron's input. That makes a lot of sense to me. I also want to add a significant amount of gratitude for all the people that provided comment. It helped a great deal with their background and expertise as we evaluate these important decisions. I appreciate that very much. So I would also make a motion to adopt Deb's suggestion with Aaron's clarity on the topic. So I guess it's 40 days. Is that what you're suggesting, Aaron and Deb?
40 days would work for us.
That would be my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so the motion, just to make sure I have it, electronic pull tabs may not be conducted on temporary sites such as fairgrounds, special event sites, or any site that is not open for at least 40 business days for 1 quarter. Is that correct, Mr. Seminary?
Yes.
Okay. I have a first. Do I have a second for that motion?
Second,
Second from Ms. McDaniels. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I like the balance we're trying to strike here, but I do just have some concerns about compliance with counting days and just another layer of regulation. I tend to lean towards maybe a temporary site such as a fairground or a special event site is kind of a little more self-explanatory, and it seems a little more clear cut as opposed to counting days, but that's my opinion where I'm coming from on this.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, let's have, we have a motion on the table. Let's do a roll call vote on that motion.
And the motion is, just so I understand, to revise it to read 40 business days per quarter, or for 1 quarter. And so I'll start with the vote here. Commissioner McDaniel,
yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
No.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes. Motion does carry. Good discussion, guys. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go on to the next one, which is on page 4, section 99-01.3-01-04, license. Current draft language. As you can see, I'm not going to read through all these. I can speed up. You guys can read just as well as I can. So we did have a little bit of comment from Bill and Janelle on this one. And you can see the gaming division input. They are responding to their language. So they're suggesting that they would like to keep the language that they drafted for us, which is at the beginning of the section. Do we have any discussion on this, or does anybody have a motion on this one?
Chairman McLean, I would move that we adopt the AG's recommendation and not make any changes to the proposed language.
I have a first by Mr. Commissioner Norrell. Do I have a second?
Second,
I think Ms. McDaniels was first. Mike, sorry. So we have a first and a second. Let's have any discussion. Okay. Hearing no discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McDaniel,
yes.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes. Motion does carry. All right, we're going to move on to, in the next session, reporting a change in information. This one gets a little more detailed. This is on page 5. You can go through. We did have some comments on this. The following changes required for reporting to the Attorney General's office. Changes in organizational primary purpose, type of gaming offered, days of the week that gaming is offered, designated area where gaming is conducted. We did get some comment, one comment on this one. The AG does respond to that. It kind of helps understand what's going on. Does anybody have any discussion on this one, or have a motion for me?
I'd like to ask Aaron, I know you said either or, but would it be easier just to add the independent audit person and leave the original draft language?
Yeah, I believe that's the best route to go, is leave the original draft. Let's see.
She struck out, yeah.
Yeah, or add independent audit person to the original draft language.
Okay. And Deb, well, I'll let you put your motion together, Deb. I won't speak for you.
So I want to defer to the AG's office, which they feel clarifies this better for them to regulate. So if that's what Aaron's suggesting, I would motion to add the independent audit person.
Okay. So the motion then would be the current changes he has, which is the change of organization purpose 1 through 4, and then adding that language and striking out what they also propose to do, correct?
I think that's correct.
Aaron, are you good with that?
Let me look through it here quickly.
Yeah, you take your time. You don't have to be quickly either. Let's get this right.
Mr. Chair, as he's doing that, it sounds like what Deb has suggested is that leave the original draft language unchanged, but add the independent audit person.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and one more note here, Chairman. We would add the independent audit person and the gaming manager. So it would add those two individuals as needed changes in reporting.
Deb, are you okay with amending your motion, since we only have a first still?
Yeah. Yeah.
To add the gaming manager? And then where do you want to put that, where do you want to put that independent auditor or gaming, where do you want to put that in the language, just so everybody knows?
That would be when you look at the current draft language, the proposal would be to add it as 5 and 6.
5 and 6, okay.
Yep.
And you'd separate them out, each one of them. Okay.
Yep.
That is the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Seminary, I believe. Any other further discussion? All right, roll call vote, please.
Chairman Seminary, or excuse me, Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel. I think there was a yes, sir, right? Yep.
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Norrell
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes. Motion does carry. All right, we're going to move on to bottom of page 6, permits. As you can see, they're changing current draft language, the days, and then an alcoholic beverage establishment may not advertise gaming. That's in 2 and 8. We did get some written and verbal comments on that one. And then the AG's opinion or input back after that. Do I have any discussion on this one, or is somebody ready to make a motion?
A lot of discussion on it, but I hate hammering this in, but I'm gonna say it again and again and again. Charitable gaming is for charities. It's not the bars. The bars get rent in order to have gaming in them, blah, blah, blah. So, my opinion personal is that there's no, that it shouldn't be that a bar is advertising gaming. It's not the bar's gaming. It is the charity's gaming. So if the charity wants to advertise gaming, they may do so with their expense money. Again, that's my opinion, and then we can go from there.
Is that a motion?
I don't know. Is she agreeing with then the changes? Is that what your motion is?
What
Ms.
my
McCann?
motion is that we keep what the language says in the draft rules.
The
Mr.
draft
Chair, can I
rules?
make a comment?
Yes.
No, this particular section is the section out of permits language. So you're going to have, I believe it's 3 or 4 different areas that discuss advertising throughout. So we'll have to make sure things sync up here. But this particular one is out of permit language. I think probably the area with the most comment and application of that comment is going to be when we get down to the lesser and organization restrictions. But it is a similar direction you would take here. So, but this particular one just deals with advertising related to permitted groups.
So commissioners, you understand that what we do with this one, we want to sync up with the ones further down the road.
Correct.
Okay. Commissioner McDaniel, Ms. McDaniels, so you're proposing the draft language that the AG's office has, including number 2, which changes the dollar amounts there, and then number 8, which does the advertising, correct?
Yeah, the dollar amounts are per the change in the law, and the permit advertising is just.
Yep.
I want it kept the way it states in the admin rules.
Okay. So that is the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Seminary. Any further discussion? Ryan, input?
No,
You good?
I will say, I would just like to offer before we get too far into this process. I also, I echo Commissioner Seminary's comments for the public. I also want to commend the AG's office for putting this together in a streamlined, inline version for us so we can see everything. So thank you, Aaron, and all the staff that helped with that too.
Hallelujah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was going to say that at the end, that they did a tremendous amount of work, but let's do it now. The staff at the AG's office did a great job. Thanks, guys. This Christmas tree version makes it very easy to read with all the comments. So great job. And I know it was a lot of work. So, and I know Aaron was up late at night, sometimes changing colors of highlighted stuff. So thank you. Yeah.
On vacation.
Yeah. In Hawaii. Yeah. So, okay, we have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All right, roll call vote, Aaron.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes. Motion does carry. Okay, we're going to get on to definitions at the bottom of page 8, I believe is where it is. And you can see that we have some current draft language in number 13. This is regard to ticket voucher redemption kiosks. This is another one. We did get some commentary on this one from a lot of different people. One suggestion about a crossout, and then we got the AG's or the gaming division's input after that. With a little bit of a change to 13. Is that right, Aaron? Let me just get back up here. Yeah, so then they're tweaking a little bit of what they're saying in their draft language. Do I have any discussion on this one? And this is kind of a long one. It goes on quite some time for the draft language. Do we want to just take out, Aaron, what's going to be most efficient for this one? Do we want to
Right.
kind of rule on that number 13 first and then jump into number 3? Or do you want to do the whole thing at once?
Chairman, if I could, I'll
Yeah.
provide just a little input to help break this down for you. So there's three issues at hand in this one. One is, our original language did not have the option to allow for donations related to the kiosks, which would be in line with the ETAB machines. So regarding that option, we did provide some language there at the suggestion from others, and we definitely that was probably some oversight on the front end, and we would go along with that for sure. The next is there is a request for consideration to provide language for multi-vendor kiosks, and but again, that language, what it would do is, I guess, bring the potential of having a multi-vendor kiosk. Along that line, we would ask that if there was if that language of multi-vendor was added in, that we would look to do some sort of pilot and ultimately come up with if there's additional rule that would be needed to address multi-vendor. But this starts the discussion, and it would it'd be beneficial though if we would run a pilot on it, and then if we need to adapt additional rules around that, similar to like the original kiosks. And then the last was revising the definition to, and it was the definition of gaming equipment, revising that definition to remove kiosks from gaming equipment, and we would like to hold there, if possible, to at least for the time being, treat this as gaming equipment, and as things evolve over time, it might be able to move into a different realm, but for now, due to the tie with the ETAB machines and the syncing that needs to be done there, it should go through the scrutiny that normal gaming equipment would. So.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Aaron on those 3 different chunks out of here?
I agree with Aaron as far as like gaming equipment. Yeah, should stay as gaming equipment due to the fact that in the manufacturing section and distributing section, I think it's manufacturing section, that they need to be tested and verified, and then manufacturers would then have to agree to allow a kiosk to accept both vouchers from different manufacturers. It's going to be difficult to make sure that Attorney General has clear specifications for these kiosks if they are multi-vendor ones, because there's outside kiosk companies that will want to come in to make these multi-vendor kiosks, and we want to make sure and ensure that these outside ATM kiosk people are as safe as the manufacturers that we allow. They need to be licensed, they need to be tested, they need to be approved. We can't just say, okay, yeah, you can have multi-manufacturer kiosks, because we're going to have outside people coming in and doing this, and the accounting is going to be very specific, things like that. So I think if the Attorney General's office wants to offer this option, it should be a very controlled, researched and tested rollout, and not just the Gaming Commission saying, yeah, sure, that sounds great.
And you're talking, Deb, about just a multi vendor, multi-one,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a little hesitant on that as with the gaming division, just because it's very nuanced
Well, I
for
think with any
our
new with any new technology, you should have some sort of pilot or beta test.
So I don't know, when we did the kiosks, back, the last administrative rules, it was the gaming commission, did not approve kiosks. So then the Attorney General's office, decided to let's see if the gaming commission would suggest a testing of it. And so the commission approved it, testing of it, but did not put it in the rules, because you can't put something in the rules if you don't have all the specifications and the test requirements and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if we want to do that at this point in time and saying, yep, I would approve testing of it. I just wouldn't want it in the draft rules at this point in time, because again, if we require them to become gaming manufacturers or manufacturing of gaming equipment, it's gonna have to be put into the law so that they're covered and they get, tested and approved and everything.
Aaron? He's asking, do you want to put any language in there for a testing or now or not?
I think the question would be too, is whether you add multi-vendor in now or just commit to a testing and bring multi-vendor language to a future meeting. And that would be in line with if I understand correct, Deb, the way it was done with there was nothing added in other than probably a statement by the commission that we would support testing kiosks. And then this language would be the first language related to kiosks. So, but we'd certainly be committed to looking at it and seeing if there is a good option there for organizations to be able to offer that. But however that goes, it might be cleanest to leave as it is now, and then commit to being able to test and look closer at these and then come with language in the future if that's all successful.
Commissioner McDaniels, you okay with that?
Agree with them.
I don't think we have
So
a
what
motion. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I guess the motion would be that I would keep the language that includes the charity donation, what's on number 13 there, as suggested, new language by
You're,
the AG's office.
yeah, you're talking about on page 12, that number 13, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then we're just tackling, you want to go those that way, Aaron, with that motion, just approving language on number 13, correct?
Yeah, we would definitely be along with the donation piece. I think one other thing a motion would have to hit on, unless you break it out, would be the revision to remove it from gaming equipment. So,
Do you want to break? Would it be better for you to break that out, that motion?
I think you could do it all in one here. I think Deb would be able to roll with that.
That I would, so I would amend my motion to include that a kiosk would be gaming equipment, and that the addition of a charity donation for any remaining balance be included also.
Okay.
So don't take it out of gaming equipment. It is gaming equipment.
Correct.
So to clean this up for you, Chairman, the motion would be to keep all current draft language except for revising for allowing donations, to make it simple.
Commissioner Sarah Noreen, you get the motion?
Yep.
Okay. Can I get a second
Second.
from? Okay, and I have a second. Further discussion? All right, roll call vote, Aaron.
Okay, Commissioner McDaniel? Commissioner Seminary?
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell?
Yes.
And Chairman McLean?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Next section, we are at, sorry, I'm just scrolling. Records check section. Current draft language, you can see they did a little bit of changing of language, however, is moved out of there and number 3 gets a paid and volunteer employees. And then C on 4 and 5, cleaning up a bar. I'd like to thank you very much for cleaning up that word itself. And then we had some comments, just one comment from Rick, and then AG's input.
And Mr. Chairman, can I have a second on this one?
Yeah.
So we ended up kind of going down a rabbit hole with this one, and ultimately what you have in front of you had some suggested revised language. As we dug a little bit deeper into it, we realized that the original draft language would fit best, and the original draft language does still take care of the concerns that were brought. The concerns were that it would require volunteer, say, raffle ticket sales people, in a 50-50 raffle. But there was already language in further down that exempted those individuals conducting raffles from a records check. So that was already handled. That, along with others that don't conduct gaming more than 14 days a year, and Calcutta and a couple others that were already exempted from needing a record check. So back to the original language and the intent there, it was to basically align things so when you have a gaming employee, whether they're volunteer or paid, that shouldn't matter in terms of a record check in those critical roles like your gaming manager, your Dropbox cash count teams, those sort of positions. So those that are conducting gaming. So what this would ultimately do is bring it to whether you're volunteer or paid, but if you're in those critical roles, you still need the background check. So
You want to
Commissioners?
keep the original, not the suggested new language.
yeah, the suggested new language did muddy things and ultimately reverse the intent of what was going on. So yes, we would prefer the original draft language. We're trying to correct something that was already taken care of and not an issue. So
Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we adopt the language change in adding the word required before volunteer and reverting to the original form language.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. All right, next section, restrictions and requirements. Sorry about that. As you can see, their current draft language, what they're proposing, and then we did have a comment from Rick, and then input from the gaming. Aaron, you want to go over this one a little bit?
Yeah, the issue there was, let's see, post-manufacturer rules at sites where e-tabs are located. There was some comment about this being a little bit of a hardship, as well as a suggestion to make the rules available, at a time and location, or, a contact and location to be able to view the rules. One thing that we brought to this, thinking of options, Now, currently, they have to have those rules on site and available. But moving forward, technology-wise, I think it would be feasible in visiting with staff here, if they wanted the option of providing a QR code to their policy manual, to the rules, where they can, a player, or if need be, one of those conducting games can use the QR code and pull up the rules in that manner. So that would be, I guess, an option there for you to consider. But at a minimum, we do need that language that does require posting the manufacturer's information at sites where ETABs are conducted. But certainly do see some opportunity there to move forward and use technology at our advantage. So.
Commissioners?
I kind of like the option for small sites to be able to use a QR code. We were looking at that before I retired, and I thought that's a good idea. You just, everybody has a phone nowadays. You just hold it up to the QR code and you can read every single law and rule that you want to. So I would like to go ahead and do that and put that in the language that could be an option, is to have a QR code that is approved by the Attorney General's office, because obviously the Attorney General's office has to put that together and make it available and everything. The only hesitation I'd have on that too, though, is that, people can either destroy them or manipulate them or something too. But, the same thing could happen with having them on site, as they could get, misplaced or something too. So I'm not sure, I kind of would like to, again, defer to the Attorney General's office to see if they would want to go the QR route or not, and see how that works. And then maybe, we can just see how that works. I don't.
So Deb, do you have a motion in there? Are you thinking you want to go?
I'm thinking I would like to go with the language that says the required laws and rules may be presented in either physical form or by providing a quick response code with active website link as prescribed by the Attorney General. If Aaron feels that could work for that office, that's what I was struggling with when I was there. So that's what I would motion, with approval from the AG office.
So Aaron, are you going to approve her motion?
Well, I'll provide some comments. So
Yeah.
This idea was floated in the office and seen as a benefit to organizations, and we can definitely work with it. And what this would ultimately require us to do, which is not a heavy lift, we already do it, is keep those rules maintained on a website and provide that, call it official QR code, out to the organizations as needed. And then when it comes to their policy manuals on internal controls and such, which they also need, they would ultimately need to, if they're going to use that in lieu of a physical copy, they would need to provide a QR code at their sites for that as well, so it's available to anybody playing or conducting games. So we're supportive of a move forward here. So.
Second.
So just so I know, Deb, I think your motion was only to do number 2, not to add the policy manual with a QR code, correct?
Well, if
We can take it. We can break them up. We can break them up too if we need to.
I'll go with both. I'll go
Okay.
with both.
So you're amending your motion to add both of them in there. Commissioner
correct.
Seminary, right? Are you okay with her amending? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion is to wrap both of them in there. Aaron, you're okay with that motion?
Yep, I've got it clear here. So it would be to allow both of those changes as we've offered.
Okay. Do I have any other discussion? All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes,
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. All right, next on to Lesser and the organization. We have some current draft language here. Scrolling down, we did get a little bit of comment on this one and proposed other language. This one was kind of a good one. So Aaron, I'm probably going to let you handle this one a little bit too with the input, your input after their comments.
Okay. There's a couple things to break out here. First, you've got the lessor's ability to recommend an eligible use, and the idea around that in that draft that was originally provided is to try and curb and eliminate again some of that influence that lessors are playing on organizations' ability to game and you know, obtain or keep sites, as well as provide, I guess, dollars out to their eligible use and keep that decision at the organization level. The next, again, rolls back up to the language regarding advertising and talking about how the name of the site must be insignificant in terms of the advertising. And then last, there was some concern about, by making those advertising changes, that there was inconsistency related to providing promotional drink tickets, and language was added in there that would certainly wouldn't take away that ability to, so it does bring that as an exemption in from the advertising. So if you take a look at go down to number 7 there, you have any advertising of charitable gaming, and then suggestion to take care of that third issue that I talked about would be except as provided in 9901.3, 02, 05, and then 6, and that's the promotional drink ticket area that would ultimately still allow for a promotional drink ticket to be offered by the lessor. Regarding the other language, we would hold that we would want to retain the other language as it was originally provided in the draft. There was one other comment I'll make there. Under number 8, if the lessor violates this rule, the Attorney General may suspend any or all games at the site for up to 6 months. And that was a suggestion by our legal staff to move that down to encompass the whole section versus having the appearance that it was just for that one subsection. So with that, if you're looking for anything on our end, I think it would be to retain the additional or the original language, but have the option of providing that exemption to still provide promotional drink tickets.
Commissioners? Commissioner McDaniel, looks like you have an opinion on this one.
I made my opinion clear earlier, but I would, so my motion would be to go with the suggestion with the AG's office with the new language added, saying that except as provided in section 99-01.3-02-056.
Okay, you're okay with the AG's proposed language, including number 8, where they have the
Yes.
basically the
Yes.
penalty phase? Yeah. Okay. Aaron, do you understand her motion? Yes? You good with that?
Yep, the way I understand it, it would be to retain all of the original draft language, but include that exemption or exception for still allowing promotional drink tickets.
Chairman
Second.
McDaniels, that's correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Or Chairman, Commissioner? Yes. And I had a second, yes?
Yes.
Any further discussion on this one? All right, Aaron, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. We're gonna move now down to rental agreements, I believe. Current draft language is they're striking out number 9. And we didn't have any comment on this one, Aaron?
Let's see. No, there wasn't any specific comment, but I did throw this in here because it was in relation to that other area.
Oh, yeah.
So if one changed,
Yep,
the
yep.
other would need to. So
Do I have a motion, commissioners?
So moved to adopt the
First.
draft language.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second for Commissioner Seminary. All right, any further discussion? All right, roll call vote, Aaron.
okay, Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Persons restricted from playing games. Amended as follows. Persons restricted from playing games. Okay, here's the proposed language. So you're just adding electronic pull tabs devices basically in this section. We did have one comment. So Aaron, you're changing, your input would be to add or bar employee then basically, right? Is that what you're,
Let's see.
incorporate number 7. If an organization allows a gaming employee or a ball employee to play on sites, it shall post and make it available to players. Okay.
Right.
Okay, any comments, commissioners?
I agree
Got a
with the
motion?
change.
Okay. Is that your motion, Deb, then?
And my motion is to add or bar employee.
And the proposed changes up top with the electronic pull tab devices, Deb, yes?
Yes,
Okay.
Second.
That's, I have a second. Any further discussion? All right, Aaron, roll call vote.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Nice job, commissioners. We're about a quarter of the way through, so good job. Training requirements and acknowledgement of the gaming laws and rules section. Current draft language. We did get one comment that just said excellent addition, which good job, Aaron. I like when you get a little positive feedback. Do I have any comments on this one, or do we ready for a motion, commissioners?
I would move with the adopted language, including training requirements.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, Aaron.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Next one, I'm on page 28, just so you know, or bottom of 27, start of 28 gaming account. We did have one comment additional. Does anybody have any questions on this one? Charitable donations. So Aaron, you're basically taking Bill's. Yes, regarding kiosks. All right. Commissioners, do I have it? You guys can read it just as well as I can. Commissioners, do I have a motion on this one? Everybody's reading through this one again a little bit, Aaron.
Yep. And this one was originally meant to clarify gaming expenses are to be paid out of the gaming account. There was some question on this. There was also a comment about allowing a donation to be made from the kiosk. So that was, again, you addressed that earlier. So we would have to sync that up in this one.
This is basically syncing up what we did before.
Yes, in addition to just adding that term gaming in front of expenses there. Now obviously there's other changes in here, but nothing that received any additional comment. So,
Mr. Chairman, I'd recommend we adopt the modifications in subsection 1, 2, and 3, specifically noting the addition of the word gaming.
I have a motion second.
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 Commissioner Noel first. Do I have any further discussion? Otherwise, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. We're going to move on to the next one, restrictions and requirements. Current draft language, you're taking out 3 and 4. 12 is a little bit of change, also changing bar to alcohol beverage establishment. I'm not going to say that again. Wherever you see bar, we're going to change that language just so everybody knows. We did have some comments there, including some suggested language. And then the AG's opinion. And Aaron, this is a little bit more of an opinion here. So do you want to go through this one a little bit better?
Sure. So, yeah, I think what you have here is, again, that issue that was previously discussed. This is another area where it is addressed in rule about an organization paying or a lessor accepting payment. The next, where most of the comment on this area came around the area of allowing for all accounting records, it says they must be completed and initialed or signed with permanent ink. And then they added or digitally. And like for the time being here, we're definitely open to moving forward with getting digital signatures and being able to help streamline. What I think we would like to do here, if possible, rather than bringing in the digitally at this point in time, we can work with waivers and have provided waivers previously for some of this. And in this discussion, we've realized too that there needs to be probably some changes due to the new tax return system, because ultimately they're signing, when they do their tax returns, those are being signed electronically as well. So we have to work through this on our end, but we'd like to take a more comprehensive look at it and parse out, okay, what can be ink and what must be digital, and then bring something at that point. But definitely we'd work with organizations that have ideas, and that would ultimately be the starting point, I think, to define what can and can't be signed with ink or digital. So we would like to keep the language as it is originally if possible, but we'll work with those that and currently are working with them on some areas to be able to move forward in that, call it that digital world. But even on our end, we need some change there as well from the tax return side of things. So knowing that it needs a change, I don't know that this change that's recommended ultimately takes care of all the issue at this point. We'd like to have some time to sort out and bring some wording that would be a little more concise and specific, I should say. So.
Okay. Commissioners, questions or a motion?
So
I'm
Aaron,
actually- Go
Sorry.
ahead, Deborah.
Okay, Aaron, my understanding is then you want to keep the language as drafted and then kind of make some more determination. later on.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm all for moving forward where we can in the digital world and streamlining those things. And as time goes on, we've got, we've got the tax system, we've got the licensing system that's coming on board. And then hopefully we can move even further into the audit world with that system. So ultimately that'll lead to some changes and us being able to help streamline that through systems versus forms. So we don't see that adding digitally right now is critical, and we'll when we can get a listing of those forms that say can be done digital, we'll definitely work towards that. So and waiver it on our end. So
Aaron, how widely known is the opportunity for a waiver at this point within the regulated community here?
Well, it is in rule that the AG can waive provide a waiver. There are certainly with organizations that have been around for quite a few years, they're available. They're aware that there are waivers available on some of these. So maybe Deb can speak a little bit more historically on that discussion. So
Yeah, all an organization has to do is write a request, or call, write, whatever, just notify us that they want to receive a waiver. And then we just discuss it with the organization, make sure that they have their checks and balances in place. And then it would be up to the Attorney General's office to issue that waiver, but they're never it would be very rare to refuse a waiver unless, they really don't have the accounting checks and balances in place. So it's not a difficult thing to do. So I would motion to keep the original language with the expectation that the Attorney General's office is working on moving to digital signatures where they would work. And then hopefully they'll have clarification language next rule promulgation.
Thank you.
That is the motion from Commissioner McDaniel. Basically to adopt what Aaron has, go back to original rule adoption with the caveat that let the AG's office figure out a way to be able to do some more digital stuff. Basically is what she's saying, when they can and how they can. So do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Ryan or Aaron?
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. All right, we jump all the way down now to page 33, raffles. There's some proposed changes to 1, 2, 3, 4. We did get a little bit of comment on that, and then the AG's opinion on ticket limitations AG's opinion on this, Mr. Rules. Go through public comment period. Okay, so commissioners, do you have any questions, or do I have a motion on this one? Or do you need clarification from Aaron on this one?
I would move to adopt the gaming division's input and not make any changes.
Okay,
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Aaron, roll call vote.
Okay, Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes.
Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. And I do try to give you time, Aaron, because I know you're typing motions or something, so I do try to give you a little time before I call for that roll call vote. So,
Yep, I'll have you slow down if need be. So.
okay. Next one is limitations and requirements. We have some current draft language. We did have one comment, only one name on a raffle ticket, and then we did have the gaming division input on that one. Commissioners, do I have any comments, or do I have a motion?
I would move to adopt the draft language.
I have a first. Do I have a second? And I have a second from Commissioner McDaniels. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. We're now on section double roll tickets. We have redemption period on or before and striking out the same day. We did have some comments on this one. Then AG's input, and they're taking their input and changing it. A redemption period must be set by the organization prior to the raffle drawing. So that is what their AG's input is on this one. Commissioners, any comments, or do I have a motion?
I would move to adopt the further revised language as provided by the AG's office.
We have a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, Aaron, roll call vote.
Okay, Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel, Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Next section
Can I
is,
just clarify, Debs, or I assumed it was a yay, but
yes.
okay.
Are you having a hard time hearing me or?
it
I
seems
think you
when
might
you
have been
lean-
muted on that one. So,
Oh,
Okay,
and sometimes when you lean back, Deb, it doesn't catch your mic as well. So just so you're aware.
thanks.
You bet. All right, next section is conduct and play. Current draft language. We did get a little bit of comments on this one. The language states or. Basically, the AG's input is saying that it shouldn't make a difference with the word or in there. Do I have any other? What?
I make the motion that it goes as drafted.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Any through discussion? Roll call, Aaron?
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Next section is use and requirements of an organization. We have current draft language there, adding some of it and then taking out 4E and then adding 5, which is new language. So there's a little bit to this one, actually quite a bit to this one. We did get a little comments and suggested language. So these are the ones I kind of want Aaron to kind of go through because you have input on 2 different comments, it looks like, Aaron. So go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, we have multiple issues here. The first issue is clarifying where ETABs can be operated. So the changes in the previous temporary site language that was done would also require updating here to coincide with those previous changes. And then the next topic that generated some discussion was allowing for service technicians to have key access. And then there was also comment about the by the end of quarter language. The intention of that was to change, or the intention of that change in language originally is clarifying that the organization can close ETABs within 14 calendar days from the end of the quarter, or at least by the end of the quarter that they, if they don't utilize the 14-day calendar window. It's not saying they can't play games until the last day of the quarter. There is also comment that they would like to see a voucher redemption period extended to 3 days. We'd prefer to remain, or that the original draft language remain there, that it can't leave the site and redeem that day. A voucher leaving the site brings security and integrity issues into it, and you know, you don't have to go very far to hear stories there about what can occur in terms of being able to game the system and ultimately tarnish the integrity of gaming. So we would like to keep that to where they need to cash out at that time versus 3 days later. So
Okay. Commissioners, any questions of Aaron, or do you have a motion for me?
I would just ask here, Aaron, just for clarity on the, I gotta scroll back up and find it, but the days per quarter language, that would need to be amended to reflect the change at 40 that we made earlier, correct?
let me take a look here.
You're talking about the exception for how long that you're open, right? That's what you're looking at, Commissioner Nora?
Yes,
Yeah.
it talks about not open for 20 consecutive days
Yeah.
in one quarter. And that was amended earlier to 40 business days in a quarter.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. That would need to be changed as well. So
Part of the motion. Ryan, do you have a big motion for this one then, or?
Say, well, I guess I'll go forward with a motion to adopt the recommended changes with the caveat of making that further revised change to reflect the earlier reflection or other earlier amendments.
Second.
All right, we got a first and a second. Aaron, that's pretty clear motion. You understand that one?
I do. Yep.
Any further discussion, commissioners? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry, and thanks, Commissioner Norrell, for pointing out that 40 days and not letting us miss that, so thank you. Next section is dealing mistakes. We did have removes unless an organization has an alternative written policy. We did get comments on this one. And if you go to page 49, this has been discussed and reverted back to the original language is recommended. Aaron, you want to give us a little background on this one?
Yeah, so this was added in, and after receiving comment, realized it makes sense to pull this one back. So I think if there was a motion here to align with the comments and then where we agree, it would be to basically strike this draft language to begin with and retain the rules as written.
Don't move.
All right, I have a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Further discussion, commissioners? A roll call vote, please.
Hold on just a second.
Yep, no worries.
And Ryan the second. Okay. Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
yes,
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Dropbox cash count. We did get comments on this one and input from the AG's office. Anybody have any questions or have a motion for me on this one?
I recommend that we adopt the changes as stated.
I have a first. Do I have a
second,
second? Commissioner McDaniel, second. Further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Next section, record keeping. We did get a comment on this one in the AG's opinion. Any questions or a motion on this one, commissioners?
I definitely do not want this to pass. Is this a poker one? Yeah.
No, we're not on the poker one yet. Poker's
Okay.
next.
No, the record keeping one, yeah. Keep as is.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Aaron?
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel? Is that a yes, Deb?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Commissioner Norrell
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Commissioners, we're at the halfway mark. I'm going to ask just, and we can keep going. It's up to you. But does anybody need a break or do you want to keep going?
I'm good.
Good too.
Ryan?
Good.
All right. Next one is poker. Tournament buy-in increased from 300 to 1,500. We do have I guess most of the comments didn't have a problem with it. And then you have the AG's gaming input.
Yeah. I want to make a comment. I don't know. I did not suggest this increase. So I'd like that off of there, that was requested by the Gaming Commission, because there's no way that I would have requested something like this. I don't think the Gaming Commission has the authority to increase wage amounts. It's an expansion of gaming. And I think that the Attorney General should look into this to make sure that if this goes through, that it's legal, because when I was there as a gaming division director for 30 years, I was told that this could not be increased unless done legislatively. So I would like that to be researched if the other gaming commissioners think that this is okay. When we had the public hearing, I didn't hear from anybody from the outside, the industry, asking for this. So if this was requested by the industry, I want to know who requested it, because the Gaming Commission did not. Or at least I didn't ask for this to be increased. And from $300 to $1,500 that's a huge increase, and I would not support this.
Mr. Chairman
Yes.
and fellow commissioners, thank you, Deb. I have like concerns. I was always under the impression that a change like this is brought forth legislatively and not by the commission. Number one. Number two, I have to be careful how I say this. I'm supportive of gaming. I'm not a person that visits gaming sites or casinos. I could count on one hand the number of times I've done that in the past 20, 25 years. It's just not my cup of tea. But I understand the nature of its entertainment value and how it supports, in this case, charitable organizations. I am becoming increasingly concerned about the significant increase in receipts because of changes made legislatively. Whenever we're close to $2 billion, that means that a number of people are losing money. And so I become sensitive to that as a gaming commissioner. And so I'm very sensitive about ways that we as a gaming commission would make that even easier for some people that have that particular addiction, and that's what I'm going to call it. Additionally, I'm also very sensitive about what has happened to Native American gaming. And I bring that up because and by the way, I have visited twice the Native American gaming opportunities in the state since it's become part of our culture. but they have a significantly different level of investment than most gaming sites. And I'm very sensitive about changes in game that impacts them. And so I would agree with you, Deb. I don't think this is a change we should make. I think it should be done by the legislature. And I probably went on too long there. I apologize.
No, no, that's all right, Commissioner. Commissioner Noel?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I would just point out that the Century Code states that for a tournament, an organization shall charge an entry fee. And then the rules, this is about a tournament entry fee, to my understanding, yes. And the rules state what that language is. And so I would feel that the commission has the authority to change that entry fee. Whether or not there's further clarification in the law that needs to be made, I'd be open to those, but that'd be for the legislature to make. So that said, I do believe that the commission has the authority to look at. That's just my opinion as a commissioner, not speaking on as my capacity as an attorney, nor as this commission's attorney. So I just wanted to offer that clarification.
Say that again, please, Ryan. It's a strictly an entry fee.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, that's what it says, but they are considered gross proceeds. That's a wager actually that a player is making to be able to play to win. So that fee word is kind of confusing when you look at it. It's not a fee, it's a wager. They're making a wager to play a game to win a prize, which is gambling.
Commissioners, just so you have full disclosure, I did a little bit of research on this one as well. I had a couple of different people that are in attorneys as well say the same thing that Ryan did. They thought that this could be done part of rules. I don't disagree with what Deb and Mike are saying either, just so you know. I did research a little bit the states around us. South Dakota, Montana. I think Montana has a $1,800 limit, and I believe South Dakota is similar to $1,500 or something like that for a fee to enter a poker tournament. I will say that the ones that I talked to, they only use typically their tournaments. All of their tournaments are less than the $300 entry fee. It's their end of the year tournament where they get to the $1,500. So it's their grand, the top tournament at the end of the year. So I think that's where the talk was about trying to get this upped, just to match what the surrounding states have for tournaments to offer. So that's just my input. I will defer if I will ask if there's a motion. If we don't have a motion, obviously it's not going to be adopted. So does anybody have a motion for me on this one?
Mr. Chairman, I would put forth a motion to adopt the recommended change, or not necessarily recommended, the proposed change. We'll put it that way.
Okay. Do I have a second?
For the sake of discussion, I will second.
There is a second. Discussion?
I do not agree, and I won't support this. And again, I don't want that language saying that it was requested by the Gaming Commission, because I did not request this.
Any other discussion?
I would just offer that I do think it offers a level of parity with the neighboring states, more in line with what is expected in other states at this day and age.
And then if maybe there could be a compromise, if it is true what you're saying, Jamie, that it's more for the last end tournament, that language could be put in that it's still $300 unless there's a final tournament, and then the final tournament could be more, but I still will vote no.
Commissioner Seminary?
I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, Aaron, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Seminary,
No.
Commissioner McDaniel,
No,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes. Since we do have a tie, Aaron and I did talk about this, about a tie. We're going to table this then, since we don't have a breaking vote. We'll go forward. Is that what we decided, Aaron? Yes, you and I talked about this. We have it. So this will not, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we can move forward with everything today, but table
Yeah.
this issue and see if we can get something scheduled in the very near future where the other commissioner can be present.
Okay. All right, commissioners, we'll move on to page 52, eligible uses. Looks like section 3 clarifies subsection F, G, original draft language, and we did have some comments. And then the AG's input. Aaron, do you want to go through this one a little bit, because it deals with bills from last session?
Right. So there's several different areas here. The first dealing with net proceeds by convention and visitors bureaus. The second, disbursement of net proceeds to youth organizations, schools, and booster clubs. And the third being disbursement of net proceeds to adult amateur athletics. And you do have three distinct issues here to discuss. Now, the rest of the eligible use changes didn't appear to have any other comments, so I think we can parse these three out and for further discussion. So the CVB language, the change here in rule does seek to essentially clarify eligible use, where the issue last session was centered around the definition of a public spirited organization. Is there some potential overlap there? Yes, there is. The suggested proposal, or if there's some middle ground that needs to be worked out to clarify related to the rural tourism groups. I think you could probably look to do that in some revised language by doing similar to from municipal level, where the municipality does basically make a decision on who is considered tourism for that city. I don't know if that can be done from a county standpoint to encompass the rural tourism groups, but that's a potential option to look into there. The second regarding youth activities, and that specifically was, let's see here, disbursement shall be only made to a youth organization, school, or booster club, and not an individual participant. The concern that came in, not necessarily with the changes, but that overall subsection, call it, was that it reads less than 18 years of age. There was concern that some youth groups, like a 19U team, may have a 19-year-old, and the less than 18 years of age too does, I would read it as that brings in 18-year-old as not eligible, but they may be on youth organizations. So I guess there was requests there to see if that could be clarified with this as well. And then when we get to the adults, sports uniforms and equipment, there was a lot of commentary there, and I think with the verbal comment issued during the hearing, everybody's probably up to speed on the arguments either for or against that as well. So additionally, with the adults was the commentary on construction, use and maintenance of a sports complex, and the idea of removing that, and Deb could probably talk maybe even a little more history there, but the idea of an adult only facility where these organizations could ultimately donate to other avenues that would allow for facility, call it construction, where it isn't specifically carved out in this adult language. So with that, I think I'll turn it over to you. So.
Do you want, Aaron, just before we get into a little more comments from commissioners, do you want to chunk them as 3 separate kind of motions?
Sure. So let's start with CVB.
Okay. Commissioners, we'll just talk about CVB first. Do you have any questions, or do I have a motion on that part of it?
I like the clarification of what a CVB is. I know we had issues about regulating who is and who isn't considered a visitors and convention bureau. There, you know, I'd like some clarification of what is considered a CVB. This language that's on here, the new language, came from a CVB themselves, stating how they actually comply with the federal government and what a CVB is. But I also understand the comments, you know, about the rule part. So I don't have any like proposed additional language, and the thing talking about the law, it wasn't what a CVB was. It was whether or not a CVB would be a public spirited organization or not. So that was determined in law, that any CVB is a public spirited organization. We're not fighting that. What we're trying to do is and that was part of my discussions with legislators is what is a CVB, so that it would qualify as a public spirited organization. So if there's any way to make that clear for rule part, you know, I would think that they would be approved by the county, or something like that, that makes them a clear CVB. So I don't have language that would help that, but I do like the language that's in there, because I know that's what a certain CVB had to qualify as under the federal government.
So can I
And
ask
they
a
worked
question?
hard on that language.
Can I ask a question then, Deb? Do you know,
Sure.
historically wise, is there any CVBs currently in the state of North Dakota that are not qualified as a CVB by the federal government or federal regulations?
That I know of. So that's
Okay.
why I appreciate this clarification language. I don't know, you know, I don't know who was it?
Scott?
What- Yeah, Scott or whoever was talking about that it would eliminate, you know, some, I never recognized anything that wasn't like this. So I don't know what their concern is. I like this language.
Are there currently rural tourism groups that are conducting gaming?
Aaron?
I don't know.
That's a good question. Without having the list in front, Ryan, I'd have to table that one.
Well, and actually to that exact point, Aaron, is it possible, we know we're gonna have to come back and visit the poker issue. Is it possible to maybe, whether we solicit further comment from the organizations, or whether we, you know, sit down with AG's office staff, could we table this one in particular, see if we could, we don't want to cut somebody out that might be currently or might be interested in gaming, because we go with too restrictive of a clarification here. assuming we would want those rural tourism groups to be able to conduct gaming on par with the CVBs.
So is your motion,
Yep.
Ryan, to table this chunk?
Sure, I would make that motion to table this and maybe look at further clarifying language.
Second.
I have a first and a second to table this chunk of it. I don't know how else to say besides chunk. Aaron, you can wordsmith that a little bit better probably. Do I have any further discussion?
And I would just clarify that I'm gonna just restrict that to this subsection 3 about the CVB language as opposed to the further
There you go.
definitions later. And my other question, Aaron, by tabling this, does this hinder this subsection from being promulgated prior on time as we would hope it would be with the rest of them? I'm obviously gonna put it a little bit far behind, or are we gonna miss other deadlines?
Well, yeah, we're certainly up against a timeline for July 1st promulgation. I need to have this to the AG review, and that needs to be completed by May 1. They need at least 2 weeks with it, so we'd have to meet fairly soon on this. You know, if I guess, you know, we'd prefer moving forward with the language, but if there's caution that's required too, there's, you know, you could always look at it later to help clarify that. I do anticipate that we will potentially have another go around of rules here in the not too distant future as well. So,
And the worst case scenario is if we can't get this promulgated in time, the status quo is maintained, which I think we're generally okay with the status quo. Is that be accurate? We're just thinking to clarify who qualifies here.
that is correct. Yeah.
Just for housekeeping, I know, Aaron, you kind of amended your motion there. Commissioner Seminary, you okay with his little addition to, or just the section that we're carving out?
Yes.
Just want to make sure we do it right. Commissioner McDaniel, do you have any comments on this one?
No, like I said, I appreciate the clarification, but, you know, I would also want to get these promulgated as soon as possible too, so.
Well, we'll try to get, I think the idea would be at least to get all 5 of us together is after the April 15th. Is that right, Aaron? We're trying to shortly right after that because of tax day, correct?
Well, it kind of pushes us up
Okay.
against a limit. I mean, if we can get them before then, that would be probably
That'd be great.
appreciated. So,
Yeah, okay. We'll try to do that. Okay, so we have a first and second to table this one. Do I have any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, Aaron, on this section.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes,
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, that section is done. Now we're going to do work on subsection or subdivision F of subsection 4, youth organizations. I'm just going to throw one little comment about the 19U. My daughter does play hockey, and there is 19U clubs out there that I do know that have gaming. So, and that's just in hockey, and I do believe they do that in volleyball too as well. So, just so you guys know my knowledge of this. Commissioners, on this section, you guys have a motion or any comments or questions?
so what are they suggesting? Just get rid of the 18 and just say youth, or what's?
Aaron?
Let me scroll down here.
Looking to. They just state that there's even some 19-year-olds that participate. They're not suggesting anything. They're just putting that out there.
Yeah,
I think what you would have there, Deb, would be a strike out of less than 18 years of age. So it would read youth, community, and
youth.
athletic activities open to all youth.
okay. I would
To incorporate that, you'd strike out less than 18 years of age.
motion that be changed to do that, because I agree that you can have a 19-year-old playing that's considered a youth.
Okay. So your proposal is their draft language striking out the less than 18. Is that right?
Second.
Correct.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Any further discussion on this section? Roll call vote, Aaron?
Okay, Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel,
Yes,
and Chairman McLean.
Yes. Okay, now we're in subdivision G of subsection 4. We have the current draft language, and we had some comments on this one. Any questions, or do we have a motion on this one? And we did have a lot of comments on this part, just so you know, and then the AG's input at the end. Do you guys have any follow-up from Aaron? You want Aaron to roll through this one again a little bit?
Sure, I
Draft
think
language.
our preference would be that it remain as drafted.
My-
I
my
think the
motion
comment
is-
speaks for itself, so.
yeah. My motion is to keep the draft language.
Okay. I have a
Okay.
first to keep, and then a second from Commissioner Seminary. Any further discussion? Ryan, do you want some more time to read a little bit or no?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All right, roll call vote. Aaron?
Who had the second on that one? I'm sorry.
Commissioner
Seminary.
Seminary.
Seminary. Okay, Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes,
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes. All right, good job, commissioners. Next
Mr.
one
Chairman?
is. Yes,
Could I request that we just take a 5-minute break?
absolutely, 100%. Thank you, Commissioner Norrell. 5 minutes, guys. It is 10:07. Let's come back at 10:12. right, commissioners, I think we're just waiting for Deb to come back. Aaron, you're a fan. Every time it kicks on, it's very loud.
So it sounds like a wind
Oh,
tunnel.
really? Yeah, that's crazy. It isn't that loud in here, really, but
No,
it must be
it's
at the
right at the
right
mic or
frequency to
something.
pick up. Yeah.
All right, commissioners, we're back. We're on the bottom. Well, the title's on the bottom, page 58, restriction and permits. 59, subsection 14. We had one comment on that, and then AG's input back. Do you have any questions, or do we have a motion on that one? Just had to do a reporting bingo stamped games, bingo paper, or voided gaming stamps. If that helps you.
Motion to go with the
AG's.
draft. Yeah.
Okay, I have a first and motion to go with AG's
Second.
recommendation. Second from Commissioner Seminary. Any discussion? Roll call, Aaron?
I just need to get caught up with you and clarify what
Yeah.
section, what section did you just refer to?
Section 99-01.3-15-02. It's page 59 is where we're at, bottom of 58 and
Okay.
top of page 59.
Okay, I'm there with you. Okay.
And we had a motion from Commissioner McDaniel and a second Commissioner Seminary, I believe. No further discussion. Go ahead with the roll call when you're ready, Aaron.
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Now we're going to go to page 61, manufacturing specifications on credit ticket voucher redemption kiosks. This is all new draft language. And maybe I'm going to probably have, it's a big chunk of new draft language. We did get some comments on it and proposed new language. And then we had the AG's input. Aaron, since it's such a big chunk here, I'll let you go.
Okay, this is essentially the manufacturer specifications for kiosks. And we, basically two different points that we got feedback on regarding the rules. The first you've talked about already, it's adding that multi-vendor language in on here as well, so it would mirror what the previous suggestion was. And then second, we did receive some input from one of our manufacturers that had some suggested language changes, and we did feel after going through that it did provide some clarification. Ultimately didn't change the overall function of what we were looking to do with this definition and the specifications. So if you were to go down to the let's see here,
Page 70,
page,
I think is what you're referring to.
yep, I'll bear with me.
No worries.
Okay, so yeah, the comment there that we've reviewed and provided some additional language there. So right under where it would read 99-01.3-1609.7, right below where it says the division input, we reviewed Mary's input, and for the most part would like to keep the language and draft intact. A few areas, so the areas are now indicated in black there. So I'm on page 61. If you're following there. And so it would be in the subsections 27, 28, and 29 of the original draft for the manufacturer specifications. We did suggest some changes there. So, and then back to the other issue at hand regarding multi-vendor kiosks, you just want to align that to where you were with the previous discussion there. So.
Commissioners, anybody want to take a stab at that motion? And kind of a motion would be, I think if you're approving what the AG's office is their language with their changes after public comment.
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that we adopt staff language inclusive of the recommended modifications from Mary.
Second.
Second.
I have a first and a second discussion. Aaron, do you want us to put anything in that motion about the multi-kiosk vendors too, just to stay in line with the other ones? Or are you good with not having it in this section too?
Well, I think you'd want to mention that you would align with the previous language. So,
Yeah.
so one doesn't get changed from the other. So.
Commissioner Seminary, you okay with amending your
I would
motion?
amend my motion
Yeah.
to include that as well.
Okay,
Second.
and the second is amended as well, okay? Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Aaron?
Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner Norrell,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel,
Yes.
and Commissioner McLean.
Yes, motion does carry. Okay, the next part of it is new comment. Not addressed in original draft rules, but submitted to the AG's office gaming division. First one is site authorization.
Can I make a comment here?
Yeah,
Chairman?
go ahead.
So just to give the commission some feedback. So the legal direction that was received on our end is that anything new outside of the draft rules that were originally proposed, it hasn't gone through the full public notice period and would essentially need to be brought back for public notice. So I guess as chair, I'd leave it up to you from a timeline standpoint if you want to go through these. But if you're looking for a recommendation, we'd say definitely review these. And if you want to go through them now and make recommendations, or at a later meeting to recommend what you would hope to see come out of some draft rules, if it looks like a good change. But then that would afford that ability for public comment on all of these items because they haven't been commented on. So there are some good things in there. One that I'll note that kind of came after the rules was the ability to potentially hold a gaming conference. That would require some revision to the language on what manufacturers and distributors can provide to organizations. We would look to, you don't have to address it here today, but we would look to doing a waiver potentially.
So they have to log into it.
That's what I thought. I said, find the number, because I have a sneaking
Oh.
suspicion you might need.
Somebody needs
that.
to
Okay.
mute here.
Thank you.
I'll see if I can mute him. Dawn, it looks like.
Okay. All right, back to the topic here. So for a conference or something like that, we could do a waiver, okay, to look at it and say, here's what we would like to do, just like the waivers were talked about before, and then come back if it makes sense in the future, come back with some rule to lock that in. So that would be the suggestion in that area. And that's one of the, I think, the beneficial comments that came out of here. And I just wanted to kind of address that today, that we could work with a rule waiver on something like that to make sure it occurs. But everything else, it's up to you how you want to go through them. But in terms of actual votes on promulgating these today, everything here would need to go through a full comment period. So.
The commissioners, I think what we're stating here is basically if we're going to do any of these changes here, we'd have to go back to public comment, which would affect our promulgating rules part. So I guess I'll leave it up to you guys on what you want to do, but I think it'd be my recommendation to love that they have this much comment and for next time, but I think we should move forward with what we have, but I leave it up to you guys.
I make a motion that we go forward with what we have approved through the comment period, and then take these new comments and meet about them individually, in a future date, but not include them in the current promulgation.
That is motion. Second,
I'd second
Second.
that.
Commissioner Noreen first, I think. Any further discussion on this? Basically, we're going to table this till next time. And Aaron, when you're ready, we can do a roll call vote on that.
Okay, Commissioner Seminary,
Yes.
Commissioner McDaniel. I think that was a yes, Deb.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Norrell
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes, motion does pass. Good work, commissioners. I think we went through that in under 2 hours, so good work. And we did some good work there. We've got two things that are tabled by what I see is the poker limits and the CBV section of that one section subsection. We will try to get Aaron. We probably should get an email out to get us a date where all 5 of us can meet.
Mr.
Right
Chairman,
away.
I have sent Commissioner Kovash an email asking for, I'm guessing probably a half hour or so to address these. We'll get the, you guys know the discussion at hand and have the materials. I'll direct him to where those discussions lie and have him be ready with the materials if he's able to meet. So hopefully we can get him for a half hour in the next few days here, and I will. As soon as we have that locked in, I'll notice out on the Secretary of State website. So anybody on the meeting today, please watch for that. So with that, that's all the other comment I'd have here.
Aaron, Mr. Chairman, could I just ask,
Yeah.
Aaron or AG's office staff, would it be possible to get that number of whether or not there are rural tourism entities conducting gaming, and what that might look like? And is it possible also to get the federal tax language for those CVBs too, to make sure that we are not inadvertently excluding anybody should we make a change here?
Okay, I will do my best to get that together for you. So
Thank you, Aaron.
the listing of what I'll likely do is provide the listing of all the organizations and try and distinguish from that what may be call it a rural tourism organization and so you know what sort of impact there may be.
Perfect. My last thing before I get a motion to adjourn is Aaron, great job, and make sure your staff buy them some donuts or whatever you got to do, because they teed this up very nicely for us, and it's in an easily readable format. And I can't thank you enough for all the hard work that they put into it, because I know it's a lot of work. So thank you,
You're welcome.
and thank you to your staff.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Commissioners, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks again, commissioners, for spending time with us today. We'll see you in the next couple days, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yep.
you.